Denver NWSL is now Denver Summit FC. The brand launch has happened. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down and talk about some of our one-on-one with Jen Millay from the club. The Rapids with their huge comeback versus Seattle. And now we're headed to Philadelphia to face the Union. And a little bit of controversy from the MLS All-Star game with Mr. Messi. All that and more. It's DNVR Rapids, and it's happening right now. Welcome in, everybody. It's me, Duane Brown. Some would say downtown Duane Brown, even though I live in Aurora, which is clearly not downtown. And my buddy, the ultimate superstarist producer, Yahir.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do...
That's how super he is.
Trying to get the tweet out so more people can join us in the chat.
We're getting tweets out.
But you are downtown, Duane Brown, and it's not because you live downtown. It's because you spent 80% of your life downtown.
That's true.
So you are Mr.
At
Brown
Colfax in York.
The corner of the DNVR bar, best bar in the world.
Some would say the corner of the entire world.
You did see this really awesome bar in the Summit's promo.
It's true. You may see me in the hype video that came out yesterday for about 0.025 seconds, I think.
To be fair, I also see you in my dreams, so it's
fine. I do too.
Often.
So. Oh, man. It just got weird. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we're going to talk about Summit FC's brand launch. They've also got a new founding partner that they're launching today. We'll get into that a little bit. A couple of other things that we talked about with club president Jen Millay. And then, obviously, why we're here, why we all started, and that is the Colorado Rapids. A massive comeback to get a draw versus Seattle in the Palace of Doom that Seattle usually is for us. Reasons for hope, maybe. We've got a farewell to Cheeto. And then rumors already talking about bringing in somebody else in that center back spot. And then we'll close out the show with a little quick preview and our predictions for the Colorado Rapids on the road in Philadelphia to face the Union, third place team in the East. Let's get into it. So, unless you've been living in a cave and never look at anything online or talk about soccer anywhere,
you can find a cave here downtown that you can live in.
Yeah, the underground tunnels.
There's caves. Yeah, there's caves downtown.
Do those count as caves or tunnels?
Por qué no los dos? I don't know. At what point is a cave a tunnel? When it goes underground?
When it goes all the way through.
Yeah, then I would say because there's openings and exits of the underground tunnels.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Just
there
curious.
You go.
There you go.
See, you never thought we'd be talking about tunnels and caves.
Downtown history with the Pids pod.
So, unless you were down there yesterday and had all of your devices off, you would have missed the biggest news of the day, which is Denver Summit FC is born. It came out yesterday to overwhelmingly positive response. There's always going to be your handful of people who are going to hate just to hate. But they launched this new crest. It's got 2 secondary marks as well. A bunch of word marks, a ton of colors in their color palette. There's so much going on with this brand launch and a lot of things to be excited about and to enjoy with this. So we're going to break it down. Look at that guy. Woo! Handsome actor. Handsome actor.
Who is that? That Duane?
That's me and Sydney.
Oh, is that Sydney in the middle?
Caitlin, Andre, yeah. Austin, Courtney.
We have all the behind the scenes people.
So we got your backs behind the scenes of this launch. Part of that video we filmed 3 weeks ago, right down here in the DNVR bar. So we've been sitting on this information for about 3 weeks, keeping it to ourselves so it doesn't get leaked. It's been hard to sit on it. So we're happy to finally be able to talk about it.
Can we throw away the Denver NWSL now?
Well, but never throw it away. First of all, we wouldn't throw it away.
It's no longer. Well, can we give it to the homeless?
That's like history now. But of course we're gonna update. You can update your scarf collection on Saturday, this Saturday the 26th, downtown at McGregor Square. Merch is gonna be out there, hats, the new scarves, t-shirts, hoodies, all those things. If you really like this new brand, you can go down and get a piece for yourself. But let's get into the brand itself. So the name, Summit FC, a lot of people were not happy with any of the names on the vote, myself included. The name that it is came from that vote. There were over 15,000 votes that happened from supporters of this club. So it was a lot of response, and the Summit was the overwhelming winner, the one at the top out of all these.
I don't get the hate over it. I kind of do, but I'm just like, sports teams in general are just generic. They don't feel generic anymore because they've been embedded in history for so long. With a lot of us,
sure,
it's like Chicago Bulls. What does the Bulls have to do with anything with Chicago? Like the Yankees, just because they're from they at the time, I bet they felt a little corny too, or a little like basic. But I think it's just kind of part of like, give it time to kind of integrate itself into the league, into kind of the city, and eventually it'll just feel like the Summit. Like it will grow its own identity.
I think Summit FC will become very normal for people.
Yeah.
We've had 3 weeks to sit on it, so it's become normal for us now. My initial response was like, I wasn't crazy about it. But it's grown on me. It's fine now. It's the team now. I'm just happy to not call it Denver NWSL anymore.
Imagine that was their name. Imagine they would have just kept Denver NWSL.
It's so nice not to have to say that anymore.
I would just say the new NWSL team.
Yeah, we did have a one-on-one. So I sat down with Jim Millay, club president, after the presser during the launch, and I asked her the question, did you have any fear that the name Summit was too cliche here in Denver, where it's certainly a word that you hear a lot for businesses and everything else. And she gave a response that really, I was fine with it, now that I've had time to be with it. But she gave a response that I think really puts an emphasis, and I kind of wish that this message would have gone out in the presser. It didn't, so we want to make sure we share it with you because it's important. And so I'm just going to read this because this is her words, not mine. This club has been crowdsourced from the very beginning, so the vote was really important and meaningful. We wanted this base of people from Colorado who helped bring this club here feel connected to it. That was the North Star for us in the naming convention. So all of those words, like what Jen was really getting to in this, in our chat with each other, was that this whole club has been started from a grassroots movement back when it was for Denver, FC, when you had Jordan Angeli and you had people on the streets who, their names are not going to be well known because it's grassroots. It's everyday folks, just like all of us. that were on the streets campaigning for this team, wanting to create a women's professional soccer team. They put the work in. So from the beginning, this has always been the people making this club happen. The investors and stuff, the owners, none of that stuff happens without the grassroots movement that made this thing come into existence. So to hear Jen put it in that perspective of, look, man, from the beginning, this has been a grassroots movement. This thing has always been about the fans bringing this into reality. So when it came to the vote and seeing that one name far, was voted more than any other name on the list, it was important that name become the name of the team, because it's what the people who really got on the streets and made this team happen, it's what they wanted. And so they wanted to keep that connection. And that was always, like, in her words, the North Star, the guiding, force towards the naming convention on this. And to me, that makes the name a little more special, because when I first heard it, I was like, this is pretty generic. I've seen this name on chiropractors and credit unions and everything else in Colorado, but now it's something that's more meaningful. It's got a connection to the fan base, and I think that's really cool. So it was really great. It was a great explanation that most people didn't get, that we got, and I thought was really cool.
And kind of how I was saying, I think most sports names are just generic in general.
Sure.
They just don't feel generic because you've had a lot of time to see the identity behind whatever that name is.
Sure.
Because there's the Mustangs in every high school, in every state in this world, in the U.S. There's a football team called the Mustangs, and every
Broncos.
Shout out Mountain
Broncos. Like, there's a bunch of them, right? And I think they're generic. It's normal, and it's fine. To me, it's hard to be unique. It's what you put behind the name that matters to me. And how you said, they have intention with it. It wasn't just a random, like, this sounds cool, we like it. It's, hey, the people want this. It's also really cool that the logo, the badge, and everything are done correctly. The mountains in Colorado are overdone. We've all seen them every time. It's fun, but it is what Colorado's known for. And for, like, whether you like it or not, like, it is what, when you think of Colorado, you think of the Rockies. You don't think of the Blue Bear down at a Balco. It's always something bigger than that. It's always the mountain. So I think the logo was very well done. I love the color scheme that comes with it as well. I think it's surprisingly the Nuggets. It's surprisingly the Broncos kind of colors. They feel very similar to that yellow and that gold. They're not exactly the same, but I see it right now on, like, the D, and that yellow just screams out to me like basketball. That orange screams out football because of the D. But then you put the mountains that are green, and that's, I think, what gives it that uniqueness, but still connects it to the same sports culture and kind of love that we have for the city, right? And I think they did a really good job of kind of taking from everything, kind of embodying not just the city, but everything about them, but also twisting into their own kind of way that's going to be special for them.
Yeah, I think, I think the badge looks great. It's done by Matt Wolf. If you don't know who Matt Wolf is, you've seen his work. Gotham FC. Yep. A lot of people love that logo. That's Matt Wolf. Oakland Roots is one of my favorite Matt Wolf logos. Omaha with the owl. There's a lot. LAFC. Yep. He did that one.
You can tell by the badge.
Yeah. So, Matt Wolf is a designer who's really come around and really understands soccer and understands, like, the design of soccer. Outside of that, I think that lends itself to the badge and how everything sits into it. When you have a name that's Summit, you're going to have a mountain in the logo. So, that's what it means. So, of course, you're going to have mountains, and it's part of Colorado.
You don't have that much of a gripe with it, I feel, though, the mountains on the logo, because unlike the Rapids are water. mountains. There's like an actual summit. It's an actual,
I mean,
like,
so it's
mountain.
I think you give 10 designers the name Summit FC, and 10 out of 10 of those designers are going to come up with something maybe not the same as this, but it's going to be similar.
I also love that 80s sunset that it has in the back, like the stripe sunset. It looks really nice. The secondary logos are incredibly awesome.
Yeah, the sunset on the main logo on the primary badge was the giveaway to me that it was Matt Wolf that designed it. 3 weeks ago when we saw it, like when I saw that, I was like, this is a Matt Wolf design.
Yep.
And because of San Diego Wave, he designed that one, and it's very similar to how he did the sunset in that one. The colors to me are just, to me it's not about, like, I don't really see the other sports teams at all, so that was kind of an interesting look into it, because I mean these logos are going to mean different things to everybody else. Of course. Obviously the D, like you think Broncos, because it's like everybody's been clamoring for Broncos to bring it back, and they didn't. And so the soccer team did, which I think is very funny. But anyway, I don't really see the other teams in Denver. When I see the colors, I see a color palette that feels very, very, very Colorado outdoors. These colors are so in the woods, in the mountains, in Colorado. It's crazy. It's crazy. All of these colors come from, if you keep watching their videos that they keep putting out, they'll put, they put it right up against scenery from Colorado, and these colors in the palette match exactly.
It's crazy to me that the Azure feels more like a water blue than the Rapids have, which just feels like a baby blue.
Well, I think it's a sky for them.
I know, but it feels more water. Like it feels like more like true colored water, though.
Oh man, where I grew up, water is green. So
it's more like that evergreen or sage than it is the actual.
I grew up in the marshes and weird rivers of Appalachia back east. So, these colors. Another cool thing, and so this is, if you get to the event on Saturday, there's a difference. So I'm going to get really quickly into like a design thing. There are two types of colors, right? One of them is RGB, which is on screen. It's what you're looking at right now. It's what you looked at when this brand was launched on social media. The colors are very, very bright because they are lit up by light happening behind the colors. So colors on screen are very, very, very bright. Colors that come from ink are from a CMYK, if you've heard that. And what you find with CMYK, so if you make a design on your computer and then you print it out, you will notice that all of those bright, beautiful colors are now very muted and very dull, because ink does not have light coming from behind it. It has light coming on it. And the way the colors and the inks mix, they're just very different, without getting into the science behind it. So CMYK print is going to be more muted, more dull than RGB, which is very, very bright. The bright colors that you see on the screen for this brand are wonderful, okay? When you see them printed, they are more dull. And you know what? They're freaking awesome, because maybe it's intentional, maybe it was a nice, just kind of happy accident that happened. But when these colors are in print, they're a little bit more dull, and it gives them just a massive retro Colorado feel to it. The colors they almost take on a different life when they're in print. So it's just, this color palette is an A+ from me. It's awesome. So anyway, I want to get into just two more quick things about the brand, and then we'll move into more news. One is, everyone knows my beef with American teams calling themselves FC versus SC. The club did a really nice job of explaining why they're FC versus SC. We put it out on Twitter as well, explaining that. But I asked Jen Millay personally in a one-on-one, like, and letting her know, I'm like, you went with FC. That means you're no longer allowed when World Cup comes around to put out commercials or T-shirts that say we call it soccer, because you don't. And I was like, and that's really my beef with the whole thing. It's the stupidest nitpicky thing. But I wanted her to tell me a little bit more about the FC, even though it explained really well about, well, we want to be on the global stage. And the words that she shared that I thought, again, were really, really great was that it's a tribute to the sport. Everywhere else in the world, it's called football, except for here. And it's really is looking at putting this team in the global world and on the global map versus only the NWSL map, only the American map. And she was very upfront. She said, look, man, like, we're in player recruitment now. It's free agency. We're trying to build a team. Some of those players are going to be domestic, and some of those players are probably going to be international. And when we are recruiting to international players or even American players who are playing overseas, we have to be very upfront in letting them know that we're a football club in the world of being a tribute to the sport and looking at the tradition of the game in its global form. And I thought that was really savvy. And I told her, I was very upfront. I just said, you are the only person on the planet who has ever convinced me that FC is the right way to name your team. And she's like, my argument's dead now. Like, I can't harp on that anymore because it was such a great argument. And it's super important to, when you're recruiting and when you're building a club out, to let the rest of the world know that, like, this is a global sport and we're part of the global sport, not just the U.S. side of it.
That's why I never minded that teams in the U.S. call themselves FC, because it is a marketing ploy more than it is like an actual like, oh, this. I think the whole we call it soccer, not football thing, come like international competitions and all that, is more on the marketing teams.
Well,
than
it's on the U.S. national team.
Yeah, it's more on them than it is like the people that are actually in the sport all the time. Because I think she is right. It is a tribute to the sport. Like, it's bigger than, and I think it's just the American in us that we're like SC soccer. No, like we're not the center of the world. Like, there's lot more,
especially in soccer.
Not even close in soccer. And I think that's very important to like comprehend when you're building out a brand, that you're going to be recruiting around the world. And it also distinguishes you from all the other companies around in Denver that are Summit Financial, Summit Dentistry, Summit whatever. Like, you're Summit FC, and you're a football club. We are here to play football, not play football like the American football, because that's hand egg. That's very different. It's not football. And to me, FC, people I know hated it. I think Summit FC is way better than Denver FC. I think Denver FC is just kind of lazy. It's kind of like whatever.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't end up being
exactly.
that.
And I think Summit FC is actually really cool. I can't wait till FIFA comes out in like a couple of months and I get to play with all the new Denver FC Summit FC players. And like I'm gonna transfer Lindsey Huron into the Rapid into a Summit FC. Like, I think it's gonna be really fun. And I think having this branding here in Colorado is so much better than just the Rapids. I wish the Rapids were FC, if I'm honest. I don't need them to be Denver FC, Colorado FC. I just wish they were Rapids FC. I think that gives them a little bit more of identity than just the Rapids. And I think it's such a stupid nitpick in my part too that I hate that. But it's also like, it's a preference thing, right? I grew up with every club around the world watching soccer, and it was FC everywhere, whether it was Barcelona, Real Madrid, whether you go to Mexico and you have Guadalajara, their FC and their football club, like to me it's really cool that it's FC and not SC. I always preferred FC over SC.
Yeah, and like I said, Jen has proven me wrong, so I've always been against it. But her answer was so spot on, and it made so much sense that yeah, I will admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. It's fine. Let's see. We got a question in the chat. Any chance Summit FC announces some player signings and or head coach at the launch on Saturday? I don't have a definitive answer for that. My guess is no. The reason I will say no is because we talked about this in our one-on-one with Jen. There's some rumors out there about a certain coach. We're not in the business of trying to put anybody at the Rapids or at Summit on the spot and trying to force answers out.
Well, we can if you guys asked us to.
So I brought it up. It was clear like Jen was not at the place to give that answer yet. And so my follow-up was, do you know about how long it will be before we hear about a head coach? She said 2 to 3 weeks. So that tells me it's not going to be Saturday, to answer your question about as far as the coach goes. Someone did ask during the presser, when are we going to hear about players? And the answer was just soon. So I don't know what that means as far as timeline. I mean, soon could be Saturday if they've got something in the works. We have not heard anything or seen anything anywhere about a player being signed yet. I know that, the GM, Kurt, is working. He was not at the presser for a reason, and it's because he is at a very stressful time trying to
6 months to
build an
done.
entire team. So I'm sure he's on the phones across the world looking at players right now.
It also just think about it. It makes no sense for this team to announce a player before a coach. Because you can't show the player what you're trying to build without a coach. And it's also, why would you want to you just launched your brand. You have a new stadium coming. Why would you take away any attention away from yourself? Extend the announcement and sprinkle them in throughout and try to create more and more anticipation for the season. It wouldn't make sense for them to just kind of go out and launch this right after another. They have to give themselves time to let everything kind of percolate and let everything build up more and more momentum as it goes.
It's true, and that's the way I would guess it to go, but I would not put anything by Summit FC. I mean, this group of owners and leadership are all in. They're not holding back on anything. So if they announced a player on Saturday, it would not surprise me in the least. It would be super awesome. From conversations, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, but I do think that we are only a couple of weeks away from hearing about a coach or players. So it's coming soon. If you think about this club launching on January 30th, the last day of January, and to look where we are now, we don't have to wait very long for anything with this club because there's not enough time to wait. So, we've heard about Santa Fe Yards and the stadium coming. We've heard about the training facility, the temporary stadium at the training facility, breaking ground on that. President with Jen coming in, GM with Kurt.
Brand
they've
launch,
got
logos.
Brand launch, comms director Heidi is in. There's just so many things. It's like every other day there's something happening with this squad.
And we probably won't get a kit until probably January again.
It'll be spring. I asked about that.
Exactly. So it's going to take a while. Again, there's no reason for them to put all their cards out on the table with still having enough time for them to create momentum. And they're working hard in the back. I'm sure they already have most of this stuff done. It's just there's no need to announce it one after another. Let everything kind of have its moment. Like, it's a big thing for Denver. Denver hasn't had an expansion team since the Rapids, probably. 96 was the last time the Rapids got a new team.
Yeah, I don't know when like Mammoth and all of them started.
Well, like a major sport, like in no disrespect to anybody, to any of the teams, but like a major sport, it's like a major league. Like it's been since 96, the Rapids, and the Rapids were part of the original 8, 10. Yeah. Like there's no need to like, as a fan, we want everything right now.
For sure, it's exciting.
But it's also, you got to give them time. You got to let the things kind of happen and go from there.
For sure. Last couple things on Summit FC. You brought up the kit. Kit releases will happen when NWSL releases the kits. So that will be in the spring. One interesting thing of note with the Summit FC kit is that if you watched last week, we had a great show with Jordan Rothrock of the Colorado Rapids talking about this third kit and how long the process is to make that happen. Go back and watch that. If you've ever wondered about kit design, how long it happens, what the process is like, Jordan does an awesome job of breaking that down. Long story short, it takes a couple of years for each kit. We don't have a couple of years for Summit FC. So usually these new expansion teams just get a generic jersey, a generic kit, and they just slap the logo on, and that's going to be it for the first season. This leadership group already met with Nike, and they said, we don't have a name yet. We don't have a brand yet, but we know it's going to be green. The fan response to the green has been overwhelming. So the conversation started already, and they're working on a custom kit. So it will be something for Denver Summit FC and not just a generic shirt with a badge on it. So that's pretty cool that the ownership was thinking out ahead in that. We won't see it until the spring. As you're looking at players, in the chat, yes, Summit works with Nike. I think NWSL in general works with Nike. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's all Nike. It's a league thing, yeah. So kit release will happen with all the other clubs in NWSL. That'll be in the spring. Players report in late January for training. So when you're if you're thinking about when is the squad going to be together, it will be, right after the holidays, if not before. But they all report at the end of January, whatever that looks like, as we get closer and closer building this thing out. I think that's all the news. It's just been a big week for Summit, and even for just design in general. Looking at last week with the Rapids third kit, now the brand launch for Summit FC. We're going to get more into the Colorado Rapids, the comeback and all that stuff. We're going to get into our Burgundy boys here. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsors.
First sponsor we have, and the best one of the best ones in my opinion, is Toyota. You see a little Toyota right here in front. If Tiff comes to the
we're
camera,
in the Toyota lounge.
Like, it's a Toyota lounge. It's beautiful. You guys are in the Toyota chat. Toyotas are the best. There's no car out there that can beat them or last as long. My brother just bought a 4Runner, and it's one of the most badass trucks that I've ever seen.
That's one of my dream vehicles.
It's so dope, dude. Dude, it looks horrible, but he gets in that thing and he looks like $1 million. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA, man. As an ex-mechanic, as somebody that my dad is still a mechanic, I worked on cars for so long. There's nothing like a Toyota. There's no quality better than a Toyota. It's probably the greatest brand out there for a car, and it has some of the best designs. Some of their new cars look like Transformers, which is so dope. Toyota currently offers more in zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. Toyota offers 17 models available with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like Epic 4Runner, which is so good, especially in Colorado. The snow doesn't kick your butt that much here in Denver, but if you want to go off-roading or in the mountains, a Toyota is perfect for it. There are 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra i4s, Max hybrid truck, Toyota SUVs take command on the road and on the trail, so you can explore the less traveled without sacrificing smooth rides in city rides and SUVs like RAV4 or Grand Highlander. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at locations near you: AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, proud sponsor of the Colorado Rapids and official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And the next sponsor we want to give a shout out to is Branded Bills.
Hats.
Brr. We're hats people here. We love hats. And I can't wait till we have the Denver Summit FC collab with Branded Bills, because that's going to be a dope one. It's going to be a good one. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Look, Duane's hat's great, but a Branded Bill hat would be better. My hat's great. I like it, but I would prefer Branded Bills. One, I'm kind of upset that I don't steal Andre's hats before the show, because he has a bunch of them. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They have partnership with Colorado State as part of their campus collection. Their CSU stuff is really cool. Their whole Mountain Colorado vibe is really cool as well. I love it so much. Head to brandedbills.com and use code BBDNVR for 15% off your first order. Branded Bills, you're dope. We love you, and it's so good to have Branded Bills on.
It's true. I love having a hat sponsor.
I know, it's dope. I actually,
so cool.
Especially as a hat person, it's really nice, and a high quality one at that.
Yeah. Thanks, Branded Bills, because we like hats. All right, we're back talking soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. It's Colorado Rapids time. They had a Saturday off. We had a Saturday off. We're back at it on Saturday, but before we get there, let's rewind the clock, go back to the Arena of Terror, the horror show that is Seattle.
It actually hasn't felt that bad in the last couple of years, because they drew there last year and they could have won it with the penalty.
It always feels bad.
I think Seattle just feels bad in general. I think Seattle just kind of gives that like bully team. It's kind of like facing the Nuggets.
They've had our number for a long time.
It's like facing the Dodgers.
Yep.
It's always like a team that you're just like, they're a big team. You got to
It's a bummer to have to go play Seattle in Seattle. Yeah. So we went to Seattle, and what we saw in the first half into like the first 5 minutes of the second half was what always happens in Seattle. Just the worst possible things. Zack Steffen gives up 2 real bad goals.
The first one, I cannot blame Zack for it. That pitch is horrible. Slipped.
I mean,
like you would have, if you play that game in
for sure
80 other stadiums around the world that have real grass, that's not a goal.
Yeah, that's 100% true. It just, the optics of it were awful.
Or it makes him look like he doesn't know what he's doing between the sticks.
Turf sucks. And that's one of the reasons why playing in Seattle is so difficult.
It's also one of the reasons why the World Cup shouldn't be in the U.S. if you're not going to play it on all grass fields. Like, you're going to put the most expensive ACLs in the world, more expensive than any basketball player, any like football player out there, on
and you're going to put them on turf.
And you're going to be like, go play. No, like, that's not the way you do it.
Wild choice. Wild choice.
Dumb.
So, we saw a bad slip. We saw a bad clear from Zach that just was an unfortunate grab and pass over to center before he could get back. Things were looking very Seattle, as they do.
That second goal, too, that's the one that I'm like, Zach did everything wrong from start to finish, where it's like, as a keeper, you never kick it to the center of the pitch. You always try to kick it to the edges for that exact same reason. Yeah. He had more than enough time to get back, and he was kind of jogging back, thinking that it wasn't gonna anything was gonna happen.
I mean, in his defense, like none of us thought that was gonna happen.
But that's kind of
but
like
you're
the whole
paid
pitch.
to get
Yeah.
back. You
but
know,
that not even paid. Like that's just kind of like keeper 101.
Sure.
Scramble back to your, if the ball's in play, always be between the sticks no matter what.
Yep.
That's the one where I'm like, you can tell the rust in Zach like was a little. That was like the rustiest play you could have made. Not running back, hitting it in the middle of the pitch, not really paying attention. It's fine.
Yeah. And then we started the second half with another goal from Seattle. We're down 3-0, like 5 minutes into the second. The bar is starting to empty out at this point. People were packing up, settling their tabs and heading out for the night on a already late start West Coast game. Why stay up for this beating that we're taking? And then here come the penalties.
Dude, Seattle is so undisciplined. Like, you have Nohu that just got a red and got suspended by the team and the league for giving up a penalty the week before and then throwing up the middle finger. And then here comes Christian Roldan, shithead of the year, shithead of a lifetime, into the game and clearly hits Rafa in the back of the foot. And then he's like, I didn't do anything. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you guys are crazy. Like review it. Like the symbol that every athlete does is like, go to VAR right away. And it's like, yeah, VAR proved it. You hit him.
And why he asked for that was insanity
It's
to
like,
me.
prove to them
Yeah.
I'm right.
That was maybe the dumbest play of the entire game was him asking to go check it when it was the most obvious foul.
Dude, and Rafa, dude, what a workhorse. Didn't
That
score
guy
a
had-
single goal, but what a damn workhorse.
He's had 2 games in a row where he is undercover carrying the team.
He's kind of playing that 10 role too. Like he's dropping back and being that like false 9, and like Djordje's
Yeah.
pushing up into with Calvin Harris being that winger, but like also being a striker at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's such a like benefit to Rafa because then Rafa can move around with much more freedom.
Yep.
And that penalty he got was just pure class and working. Like he was just working harder than Christian Roldan the whole time.
Yep, absolutely. So the first PK happens. I jokingly said to Dev of Dev Dogs fame, when the first penalty happened, I was like, dude, we are so back. You know, we're down 3-0 already. And it's just kind of said it jokingly as a like, we need anything right now. And then 2 minutes later, here comes another penalty. And we bury that one too. And now we're looking at a 3-2 game. The bar, those that were left, it was like half full at that point, was going bananas. And now we've got ourselves a game again. We're sitting at 3-2 with a lot of time left for the Rapids to put something together.
And then immediately again
And then
after
what
that
happens?
penalty, go to VAR, guys. Go to like the goalkeeper doesn't even touch the ball, grabs all ankle, pulls the ankle, and it's like, go to VAR. I didn't even touch him. It's the dumbest thing ever. But real quick before we move on, that Cole Bassett goal, I think that was so important for the Rapids to give him that opportunity to get him going. He's had I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's been a really bad year for him.
Yeah, it's not been a great year.
It's like horribly bad, actually. Like, it's not like, oh, it's not great. No, it's not good.
It's
like,
not horrible.
It's
just kind of mid.
I don't even think it's mid. It's horrible for the player that he is. I think any other player would be mid for. But for Cole Bassett, you expect him to be a leader of this team. You expect him to contribute in many places. He's a top 3 player on your squad, top 4. And yet, like, he hasn't contributed. He's been insanely injured. He's been on and off the starting 11. And some of that's not his fault. Some of it's just injuries and bad luck. But it's also, call a spade a spade. It's bad. It's really bad for him, especially for the aspirations that he has of wanting to go back to Europe eventually, wanting to make the USMNT team, World Cup around the corner, and not really getting any shots with the Gold Cup team or any of that. I think it's been as bad as it could go for him individually. and getting them that. And I really love that Chris Armas said, hey, man, we need you. We're going to give you this penalty, and we think you can make it, and we're hoping this is going to get the engine going. Glad they didn't give it to Rafa, because almost every time Rafa has taken it, it's been blocked or he misses completely.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that.
But like, again, I like that Chris Armas is giving his guys the chance. He's looking at the main dudes and saying, go for it. Like, we need you to do this.
Well, Armas has moved the strategy back into Cole being in that double pivot spot.
Yep.
The trying to shift the Rapids back to having a strong defensive mid six, if you will, if you like numbers, that we were used to with a Jack Price, and then what we thought was going to happen with Josh being signed is going to kind of move back to that strong defensive mid position. And that's not been good for Cole. What we saw, he really thrives in that double pivot where he's got a little bit more room to move. Nobody runs more than Cole Bassett. That dude will run all day for you. And so shifting back to that strategy has opened the field back up for him to be able to play the game like he plays the game. And so I think the last two games have really helped him out in that. But I agree. I think that's a smart move by a coach to look at a guy who's struggling on the season, starting to get it back together as the formation shifts in a way that gives him an elevated role, and then saying, let's give you a goal moment and let's give you an important moment on this team to bring us back within one. It's a huge confidence booster. So I think what you said is spot on.
I also think that it's Josh Intencio being the first guy off the bench in that midfield. It's kind of crazy, but it starts making me think now with the departure of Cheeto, if like we have Atencio taking some of those center back reps, which before he left Seattle, there were rumors that the Seattle was going to try him at center back and try to put him back there. So I wonder if there are some more like, hey, let's put Josh back there and see what he has. He has a little bit more playmaking ability than like a Max Sue or an Ian Murphy. So I do wonder if that becomes kind of a guy that's back there. I also do wonder if I find it crazy that the center back we moved was Cheeto instead of Max Sue after all the rumors that had been circulating. Right? Which, if you don't know, like, Cheeto finally made his move back to France.
Yeah, it's official.
Yep, he's in Nantes. Good luck with him. Famously the home of Lamine Diack. So it's just going to be so interesting how they kind of go forward with that lineup, especially without Cheeto being there.
Yeah, I mean, and seeing Josh being a guy coming off the bench makes sense when we're winning and we need to shift to a more defensive approach. That makes all kinds of sense. If we can get the offense rolling finally to put us up ahead, from the beginning, well, now you've got a really, really good weapon, right? Because you've got the double pivot working with Ronan and Cole, or Ollie and Cole, to start the game, to keep pushing the ball forward, get some of that Armas press going. Now you've got Calvin Harris that's working in as a legit winger. That's opening up to have, almost 2 10s with Hoffa being everywhere, plus Djordje. Then, maybe goals start to happen. If that happens, well, then when you're ready to make the sub, Ronan or Cole can come off, or both, and then maybe an Ollie comes on and a Josh comes on, and then you really start to solidify that defense and lock stuff down so that we don't have a scary end of the game of, are we going to give something up? Well, no, we just locked it down because we've got somebody like a Josh Atencio.
And Josh even has some offensive power because, like,
sure,
you saw him come in with Yapi during the Seattle game, and both dudes, like, played out, and they both helped the Rapids get that equalizer.
Yep.
first ever 3-0 comeback in the Rapids history, which is insane after being around for 30 years.
They had to wait for year 30 for the 3-0.
That makes a lot.
That's all marketing, dude. Like
they should have waited for the year 33.
The Rapids marketing team is playing the long game, so this is more special when it happens in the 30th year.
I mean, but it was insane, dude. Like it's and Yapi,
Yapi only scores really, 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 really important goals.
But that's what you want from a striker.
I know, but it's like he doesn't score like, oh yeah, Yapi scored a goal. Like it's always like clutch.
That's the best part about Yapi. He's so good, dude. He has, from how we talked to him about a couple years ago, like if the Rapids were to either sell Yapi or Rafa, either one, I would be happy because I trust either one to take that mantle to go forward.
Sure.
I think they both bring very different things to the pitch, but I think both of them could be that solid 9 for the Rapids.
Yep.
And I do wonder if Yapi didn't get that whole year to kind of just dilly-dally and not do much, if he would be this good. Because I feel like that's the year that really pushed him into like, this is how you become a pro. This is how you do things.
Are you more hopeful about playoffs and the rest of the season?
Oh, no, I'm still the same.
Still the same?
No, it's, again, because every time the Rapids do something good, they come back with a stinker. And that's kind of what it's been this year so far. It feels like whenever they do something really bad, it's just like been a full roller coaster. They do something bad, they come back the next week and they're like, here we go, baby. And then the week after that, they're like, we just did something great, and it just kind of dulls back down. It feels like they just like consistency, and it happens with a young team. Like, and this team is pretty young. Like, it does have a lot of young pieces in it. But I don't think I'm more hopeful. I think I'm just more entertained.
See, I think I'm sliding more into the more hopeful, as is my nature. But my biggest complaint with the Rapids this year has been the mental breakdowns and whether or not this squad is mentally tough enough to not just finish out a season, but just finish out a game most of the time. And this was some bad mental mistakes in this game put us down 3-0 really early. That there was every reason for the players from Colorado to shut down mentally and just pack it in and say, let's just play for another 40 minutes and go home. And they didn't do that. Like, they fought back, they kept at it, and they got a draw out of it. In a series of games leading up to Leagues Cup that I predicted we would be getting 0 points from, and we have 4 already. This team is proving to me that they do have the mental toughness to deal with these bad situations and with these tough teams, and they're getting results because of it. So I think, I'm not saying we're going to win the West by any means. I don't even know if that's statistically possible, but I do feel much better about the playoffs at this point in the season than I did even 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that makes sense. I really wish we had more time to talk about the Rapids right now because there's so much things. I wish we would have shifted some things around in the show, but because we haven't even talked about Kevin Cabral. We haven't even talked about the rumors.
We've got 10 minutes, so let's get
7 minutes at most.
We can go a few minutes extra. We got 10 minutes, so let's talk Cabral. Let's talk Cheeto. Let's talk Philly. Rumor for center back if we want,
and the winger,
and then Rapids at Union in 10 minutes or less.
Cool. We'll compress this.
All right, so we're going
rapid fire.
We're going rapid fire. New segment we just started. Rapids fire. Kick us off, Yahya.
Kevin Cabral, dude. Can't say it was nice to meet you. Can say don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Get the hell out of my team, dude. I was never a fan of this signing from the beginning. I thought he was overpriced. I thought he was making way too much. His speed was great, but if that's all you have and nothing else, it makes no sense. And I'm usually very open to being a good, it's okay, give him time. This guy from the very beginning, I could see right through him that it was all about the looks. It was all about how cool I look out there. It's not about how much I can contribute to the team. And I'm sure people in that locker room loved him. I'm sure everybody thought it was cool. Everybody loved him. But if you're not contributing and if you're not doing anything to make the team better, you shouldn't be on the team.
I will give Kevin Cabral the mantle of having one of my favorite goals over the past couple of years. And that was going back to Galaxy, scoring a goal, and turning around to the fans who had been crapping on him and pointing to his name. That is the kind of pettiness that I'm here for. And I love Kevin Cabral for that. It was one of my favorite moments of the year. But yeah, I mean, I was hopeful on Cabral. I really wanted it to work out. It was so much money that two teams were paying for him in Galaxy and the Rapids. And I was hoping it was just going to be one of those like awesome stories of the Rapids fleece the Galaxy. Now they've got a top flight winger in Kevin Cabral. And it didn't work out that way. The Rapids ate a lot of money on that one. So did Galaxy. But we also gave Galaxy, we took a player off their roster for them. And I hate helping them out.
And that's probably how they won the championship.
Which is, one of the reasons why I kind of don't like that move in hindsight, of course. So anyway, Kevin Cabral's done. No one has to gripe about him anymore. He's no longer in Burgundy. It was a risk, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our next player, also leaving, also French connections. Cheeto is gone.
Yeah, that was shocking. That one was one that
I didn't see that coming.
I get it. Cheeto wants to be closer to home.
Sure.
Like, I understand where it's coming from. And good on Porig. In a business where I just kind of crapped on Cabral for being the player he is, not the human he is, I give Porig a lot of credit for putting the consideration of a human first over what's best for the team. I know it sucks to hear, and like it's not the greatest for a fan. I hate the move, but good on him for taking into consideration that Cheeto wanted to be over there and made the move possible. I think it was like a 1.5 million, something like that for Cheeto.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
And it sucks because I think Cheeto was becoming a fan favorite. He was a guy that he was really taking that lawless mantle, and not because of their ancestry or whatever. Like, it's literally because of the way he played the game was so happy, was so energetic. And it's like, it was just a lot of fun to see Cheeto on the Rapids. I'm really sad he's leaving. I was really hoping he'd be a piece for the future.
I did too. I got to talk to him a few times at post games, and just really, I mean, a lot of the Rapids are this way, but just like super nice, pleasant dude. And like massive drip, as the kids say. Dude is a good dresser. Like he's an excellent dresser.
Yeah.
So he always came in, when everybody else is coming in, like still half in street clothes and half in sweaty soccer clothes. Like Cheeto would always show up like totally put together already.
Yeah.
But I was hoping he was going to be a part of the club for a lot longer. This is a Rapids thing. I mean, we've had Crookham on, and he's said multiple times, we always look at what's best for the player. Sometimes that means being with the Rapids, and sometimes that means not being with the Rapids. And so if you can make the player happy and get enough money back to where it makes sense for the club as well, then it becomes a good move, even though it's sad for the fans. But I wish him well. It's a bummer to see him go. That being said, there's already rumors flying around everywhere about Rob Holding coming in from England to fill in that spot. I will be honest, I don't know a lot about this guy, but I do want to read all the information that I feel like I need to have, and that's from our guy Mitch. An OG DNVR Pidsman, now over at Commerce City Radio, so go check them out there. They've got a weekly pod talking Pids. But Mitch had this to say on Twitter yesterday. Holding only had 5 starts for Palace a year ago and 4 starts in 10 appearances after he was loaned out to Sheffield in the Championship League. Started 28 games for Arsenal in 2020 and 2021. Only season with more than 10 starts. To me, that doesn't build a lot. You know what it sounds like? Because Mitch also said would surely be taking a pay cut as he is on about a $3 million a year. You know what this sounds a lot like to me? Kevin Cabral.
Yeah.
This is a reclamation project that's very, very, very expensive. And because the wound is still very fresh with Kevin Cabral, I don't want any part of this guy.
Yeah.
We are at a get into the playoff situation. And that means we need guys who are already like making their game happen.
He's also too old to be a reclamation project at that point. And it's 29's young. I'm 28. Like it's not, but like in soccer world, by the time you're 25, you're pretty much fully developed. You might add some wrinkles to your game as the time goes, but for the most part, by 25, you are where you're gonna be. And I wish the Rapids would do more of these kind of U22 moves style instead of trying to go for this more expensive like 29-year-old that really hasn't played much, or go for a guy that has played a lot more and you're willing to spend the money on. But I don't like these kind of like, well, we think in our system. No. Don't tell me what you think he can be in your system. Tell me what he's done and could do for you, not what you think he could do for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in the chat right now, in the Toyota chat. Cole Bassett's left foot. Holding's got FA Cups, a chip on his shoulder, and a passport. That's all you need to thrive in the MLS. You know who else had a big chip on his shoulder? Kevin Cabral, because he was getting crapped on so bad. And given he didn't have FA Cups and stuff like that, but he was, paid a bunch of money because he was supposed to be really great, and he had a huge chip on his shoulder. That's not all you need. I need someone that is already in form and playing good football, good soccer to keep pushing this team into the playoffs. Not a guy who has not played more than 10 games in 5 years in a season, who's trying to figure it out and salvage his career, and following his girlfriend who just switched over to Angel City. As someone else was saying in the chat, if that's the reason. But
we're gonna hit one real quick because we do have another show coming in here right after us. Alexis Manyoma, another rumor to the Rapids winger. A U22 spot seems to be the rumor around him from Tom Bogert. That U22 spot is available because Kevin Cabral is no longer a DP. So you got 2 DPs and 4 U22s. That will give you Josh Atencio, KDP, and Cole Bassett as your U22s, and probably another winger. He's one of those guys that had a lot of promise. He was one of the young Colombians that came out 2-3 years ago that was very hyped on. Went into Estudiantes in Argentina, has really just not done anything. Kind of a Kevin Cabral. The one thing that I do like about him, he has a lot more boss skill than Kevin Cabral. And in Estudiantes, he just kind of feels like a guy that can pop off. There's more things that maybe hopefully next week we'll have time to get into. But
your Rapids GM, you can only make one decision: a winger or somebody on the back line. For the rest of the season, what are you choosing?
It's a center back. It has to be a center back. You just lost. Like I like the winger, but it's a center back.
Yep. Even with Maxu, Ian Murphy, everybody else still back there. Okay. Yep. We're gonna finish it up. Rapids head out to Union Saturday.
Quick prediction.
Union is a club that does not score more than 3 goals. They've only done it once. It was on March 1st. The only other time was U.S. Open Cup. I'm not counting that. Only MLS games. They don't score more than 3 goals since March 1st. So I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to say this is a trap game for Union. 1-0 Pids. Zach comes back very feisty, very angry after Seattle, and gets a clean sheet. Calvin Harris gets the goal.
I say 2-2. I think it's a draw, and I think that's a victory for the Rapids.
Sure.
Walking away with
A point.
5 points in 3 games is
For games that we all thought they were going to lose all of them.
yeah. So I'll go
Huge
2-2,
dub.
and I think Zach is still rusty. I think he lets a stinker still by, unfortunately. But I think by the Leagues Cup he'll be ready to go and fully focused.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping in the chat with us. That was a lot to cover today. We'll be talking more. We'll be tweeting through it on the game on Saturday. And until then, what do we say, my guy?
Up the Pids.
We all silly like the mayor.